Welcome back, friends! Another exciting day in Empires and Puzzles brings us a brand new portal, and this time around it is going to be the Three Kingdoms that has returned. And with it comes a brand new ghost, of course. So we do have these ghosts of Lang Shen family. If I mispronounced that, I'm sorry. But anyway, what's this new ghost all about? It's Bai Wu Chang? Bai Wu Chang? I, again, am terrible with these pronunciations. I'll be honest with you, I'm not good at pronouncing names I'm familiar with. Names from another language, that is just going to be a shot in the dark for me. So we're going to just roll with it and know I'm doing my best. It's not meant to be offensive in any way. So let's move on from there. What do we get? We get a red cleric this time around, which is interesting, right? We do like the cleric protection. Overall, I think cleric's probably one of the most useful classes for the class bonus protections and all of that fun stuff. So can't complain about that. A reminder of our family bonus, we do get a bonus for 1 or 2 heroes here that say they gain 40/45% mana when ghost form on this character expires. So you might say to yourself, what's ghost form? We'll get into that in the passive just a moment. But when that form expires, they get 40 to 45% mana. It's pretty cool stuff. Now, down here in the passive department, we get Vengeful Haunting. When this character loses more than 25% of their max health at one time, the following effects activate. This character casts full removal on themselves. Well, what's full removal? Click the little question mark. It says full removal removes all status effects, stacks, growth, and wither effects. Removes even status effects and stacks that are otherwise stubborn, undispellable, or uncleansable. So basically, it wipes out any sort of stat modifications that have occurred to this character. Any debuffs, any buffs, any growth, wither, all of that just gone. Because technically, ghost form is kind of like they died and then they come back. So they can't keep anything that they had buffed themselves up with. Now, or debuff themselves. So there we go. All right, Aether Power. We didn't go over the rest of this. Oh man, let's jump back into it. Okay, so that's full removal. Then the character shifts into Vengeful Ghost form. This is a pretty important part of this, so I apologize. And it lasts for 2 turns. At the end of each turn, Vengeful Ghost deals 450% damage to a random enemy and dispels buffs from them. This effect is undispellable. So if you click on here, it says, while in ghost form, this character cannot gain mana, cannot be healed by special skills, but is immune to normal attacks, special attacks, damage dealing passives, status effects and stacks, immune from new growth, wither, and insanity effects. So basically, it's a very complex way of saying when they go into ghost form, they just can't be affected by anything. It's like they're removed from the game for a short period of time. But even though they're technically, you can't interact with them, they can interact with you because they are still doing, at the end of the turn, a 450% damage hit to one random enemy and dispelling them. This is what makes ghost form fairly strong. A 450% hit isn't over the top, but it is a very noticeable hit, especially with some of the stats on these new ghosts that are out. So, pretty interesting stuff. We like ghost form. It's very difficult to deal with. Just understand that. All right, then we've got Aether Power of Heal increase. So at the start of this battle, this hero gets plus 50% increase for any healing received for 6 turns. So that's kind of cool. He's just going to heal himself for even more. And I say heal himself because I know for a fact, since one of my alliance mates already talked about this guy will be a healer. But I don't really know what kind of healer yet, so let's find out. Down here in the specials department, operating at average speed, we get Gratified Judgment. Gratified Judgment. So he's gratefully judging people? Okay. All right. So yeah, there we go. It's going to cleanse status ailments from the sound. No, it's just the caster nearby. Okay. So this guy might be, recovers 55% health for the caster nearby. So I guess we've got that sort of healing himself, cleansing himself nearby. It's that type of healer, which is fine. Let's see what else he does. All allies recover 1500 health after 4 turns. If the effect is removed or replaced before the duration ends, recovers 1800 health instead. All right. So he is a healer and cleanser for himself and nearby, but then he also puts an effect down that will heal the entire party, but it's on a 4-turn timer. And it does say if the effect is cleared, it heals them immediately. So why does this matter? Well, here's the tricky part with the ghosts. If you remember, if he takes 25% of his max health, he's going to go into ghost form, right? When he goes into ghost form, it's going to remove all buffs. This all allies recover 1500 health is a buff that lasts for 4 turns. If at any point he is hit for 25% of his life and goes into ghost form, he's going to trigger this. It's going to remove it, and it's going to heal everyone for 1800 health the second he goes into ghost form. That's pretty powerful, because people are going to mistakenly hit this guy and trigger healing they weren't necessarily expecting. That heal is on top of a 55% heal for himself and nearby, which is very, very powerful. So how do I explain this? Look, one of the biggest problems with the ghosts is that they can't receive healing while they're in ghost form, right? Like if someone hits them really hard, triggers their ghost form, and then they come back with like 20% health, they could just die, right? This guy is a little bit different because he's a healer himself. So when he comes out of ghost form, he's going to gain a lot of mana. He should be ready to heal himself back up after coming out of ghost form. It won't always work that well, because I think the way it works is he's going to come out of ghost form. Your opposing team will have 1 turn before I think he can cast his special when he comes out of his ghost form. So if they have a special ready to finish this guy off before he heals, maybe that won't work out well. But if they aren't able to do that, he's going to heal himself right back up again. He's going to put that buff up, and if you try hitting him again, he's going to heal the entire team. Like, it's a very interesting reciprocal healing system, which is pretty good. Not great, because I feel like it's a lot of healing. It's a lot of fun effects. This guy's also going to do some damage when he goes into his ghost form, but you're most likely building this guy defensively as a healer. So his damage from that ghost form should be less than some of the other ghosts are doing. Not like terrible. He'll probably still do 1,000 damage hit, or maybe like a 900 damage hit every turn while he's in ghost form. But like it will be a little bit less significant than some of the others. I guess we're in the what we like and what we don't like about this guy. We'll just go over it from the top. Like, we like that he's a cleric. We like the protections that gives. That's all fine and good. That's great. We like that he's a ghost that gets mana when he comes out of ghost form. We like that he can go in ghost form. All of these things are pretty cool stuff, like the protections that come. We like that his ghost form interacts with his special to trigger his group heal on top of everything else. We like that he has 2 forms of pretty significant healing, 55% to himself and nearby, another 1,500 to the rest of the party when this triggers. He's providing a lot of healing, right? He also is sneaking in some extra damage. Anytime you can get a healer that can do damage as well, I feel like you're getting a nice combination for your team. So don't underestimate the fact that you get a healer that also does some damage. He's pretty good. Like, I guess my biggest concern with him is just, although he's pumping out a lot of healing, is it giving you healing at the times you need it, or is it giving you healing just randomly? And that's my biggest qualm, is I feel like I don't know if this guy is doing quite the right healing. He's doing a lot of healing, but I don't know if it's the way you want it done specifically. I still think this guy, if I had to rate him on that 1 to 10 scale, like, he's well above average. I'd say he's at least an 8.5. He might be a 9. I'm just having a hard time understanding exactly how his mechanic is going to play out on the battlefield. I do get that his ghost form triggers this extra healing, but is he going to be able to come out of ghost form and heal himself back up and become like an unstoppable legend of like really annoyingness? Or is the way ghost form expires going to leave him vulnerable for a turn where he could just be wiped out? I think it's this latter, and that's why I'm saying I don't know if this guy is going to be unstoppable, but I do think he'll be a headache. Let's just leave him at an 8.5 for now. I think he's a solid hero. I would level him if I pulled him for sure. But I think although it all sounds great, I think there's going to be a few sort of like kinks in his armor that will make him manageable enough that I don't think he's going to like break the game or anything. But again, if you are stacking several ghosts, it's going to be a very strong team, because it's going to be hard to kill them because they're ghost form. And when they're in ghost form working together, when you have 3 different ghosts hitting a random target for a 450% hit each turn and you can't do anything back to them, like it's very difficult to manage that well. Some of the best counters for ghosts out there, I still feel like stacking fiends on these guys is a great way to go. Your dot effects are fun, but they will cleanse those dots, obviously, when they go into ghost form. So I think fiends are clearly the best solution currently to do just enough damage not to trigger their ghost form, but still consistently grind them down each turn. So veggies, make sure you're using them versus these ghosts. That's my thought. Anyway, 8.5. We'll end it there. Sorry for rambling. There was a lot to think about with this guy, and we shall see you next time, everyone.